Welcome back to the morning show, early morning show. We're talking about labor. Before we went to the break, we were talking a little bit about the URP and about about trade unionism. Let me go back to Salvan and ask him, do you find that a lot of URP workers have moved on to CPEP?
I have no data to support that, really and truly. I have no data to support that, but you have to understand CPEP is more permanent based, so it's not that there's a rotation policy in CPEP.
Right.
You contracted to work with a contractor and that's it. Where URP is a 3 fortnight and a 6 fortnight rotation policy, right? The intention is after this 3 fortnight or 6 fortnight, if you don't end up in a training program that we would have led you to, most likely you would have gone on to other job opportunities that may exist in the community, as the case would be in the construction industry.
What about the training aspect of URP? Are people taking up those opportunities to be trained?
Yes, as I indicated before, approximately 7,000 individuals have moved on into training opportunities that exist in other ministries. At this point in time, we are discussing with Science and Technology, the ministry, of establishing a holistic training program for the URP. Yes, looking at the characteristic of the individuals that participate in URP on a daily basis. Yes, and putting a training program or a training system in place that would seek to develop them for opportunities in the wider job market.
Lesmar, I get a sense that you're particularly concerned about contract labor and so on. But in an environment of labor flexibility, the liberalization of the workforce and so on, can you avoid more and more people moving to contracts? And another question I had asked earlier, which I found that nobody quite answered, whether or not there has been, in your view, from your knowledge, a reduction in the number of people who are joining trade unions or who are members of trade unions, or whether that has weakened the trade union movement.
Right, let me take the last question. The labor movement is, the population is declining, and that is due to the fact that you are now moving into contract labor, fixed term employment. And when you look at the people who are being employed as contract labor, they come mainly from the service industry, and the wages, they're very low. And more than that, these units, business units, are very small. And the trade unions tend to be more attracted to the large business units. And so what you find then is that, and more so, given the fact that these are temporary people employed for 3 months, 6 months, the tendency to join trade unions is less than as in the case of the traditional.
But is it fair to say that, I mean, about the fact that with these contract laborers, contract positions, that usually you have low salaries? I mean, with the exception of Petrotrin, and I'm not sure what perhaps the NGC as well, almost every single energy sector company is without a union. And those salaries are not low. You look at the petrochemical industry, you can make the same argument. I mean, in the banking industry, you have the Bank of General Workers Trade Union. But I have a sense that you know, a lot of things that are negotiated and certainly at the middle to upper end are certainly not governed by anything as it relates to trade union movement. I mean, I can say, and even at the lower end, I mean, at the, I don't want to name any particular restaurant, but at the restaurants, you know, you tend not to have labor. So I'm not sure how...
Well, it is not that workers are not interested in joining. Under the cover, quietly, some workers have been intimidated not to join trade unions. In fact, you do have some workers who quietly join trade unions. Many of them not even aware that they could join trade unions and to be represented for rights issues as opposed to interest issues. But by and large, the contract workers, they are not inclined to join trade unions. And so what you find is that a large number of people, workers in the country, are unrepresented by trade unions for rights issues or interest issues.
I want to talk about a little bit about productivity. I'm not leaving you out at all, Jerome.
Okay, right.
But Selvan, there's always been an issue people raise in terms of the URP of productivity levels. And I start with you, but I want to deal with productivity levels in terms of the discussion that I feel must be had between linking productivity and salaries. If the country's economy is going to continue to grow, there must be that link. But let's start off with the issue of productivity levels in the URP. And how do do you agree that productivity levels are not where it should be in the URP?
You're putting words in my mouth. Curtis.
No, I'm asking if you. No, that's why I ask if you agree. I mean, you may disagree.
No, let me deal with data. I like to deal with data, real facts. The last financial year, we have started and completed 1,200 small-scale projects under the core. 1,200. In terms of our special projects, we have completed within budget, I think 336 around there. 336 around there. Contracts successfully. Now, I don't know if that speaks to some level of success in terms of productivity, yes, in terms of what was undertaken. In that regard, based on the skill level of the individuals that participate in these jobs in URP, I like to think that they are being productive. In any sector you would find, I always speak of this, you would find a percentage of leakages, a percentage of error, yes? In terms of we start off to do 100, we finish 97. You'll always find that. But relative to the skill level of the individuals, and most of these jobs were, be it drains, footpath, retaining wall, some renovation to buildings and so forth, we have been able to successfully complete around 1,200 projects. Right?
But I mean, I'm not sure. I'll give you an example. I'm from Rio Claro, and they were building, the URP was building a box drain in front of my mother's house recently, and it took them easily 6 to 8 weeks to build something that is 40 meters long.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, I don't know what, we can say the project was done, but as the productivity.
What do we speak of the skill level that we're dealing with? This is why the element of training to improve that which you speak. You say normally it should have taken, let's say, 2 weeks. But you're talking about maybe probably a C-class mason, some guys who learning the process, yes, of putting up bricks, of mixing mortar, ratios and so forth, of steel bending, what size steel to use. In the process, it's not that it's skilled men who come to just run down a drain, but in the process, they are learning also. So that reduces that completion. That's why most contractors, I am not knocking contractors, will not holistically embrace a training element if they have houses to do for NHA. It slows down the process in terms of delivery. Now, we, the government, is shouldering the responsibility of, hey, while you build the box drain, you learn the proper methodology and so forth.
I know Jerome wants to join in, and I also know that Lesmo, they both want to join in. So we have to take a short commercial break. I promise you that you get an opportunity to say your piece when you come back. We have to also deal with issues of safety in the job place and OSHA and so on. But we have to take this commercial break. And when we come back, we also ask you to join in with us as we have one large discussion here before we go to the top of the hour. We'll be right back. Welcome back on this public holiday, Labor Day, and we are talking about, of course, issues of labor, and I believe we have a caller on the line from Laventel. Laventel, please go ahead.
Morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Laventil. We're hearing you.
Okay. I hear you all talking about the union and union. I'm from Laventil, and I started to work when it was the Prime Minister's special work. And I worked from 1960 to when UNC get in power. 2 years after UNC get in power, I resigned. I was in a union, the government workers union. When NAR get into power, they cut our salary, they take 10%, they stop our cost of living. And we had a union when they did that. I was working as an area foreman. I was in charge of 10 gang. My duty was to go on a morning time, check the checker sheet, see who come out to work, sign who I meet, find out what material they want, and go back in the office and get the material on the job. And they cut my salary from $107.88 to $90 a day. And when UNC get back in power, now get out of power, people start getting back the 10% and the cost of living. And we never get it. And we were fighting for it. We even went to court. The union, Gesapia, we name is the union, make a deal with the government and scrap our monies. We never get it. Although we are in a union, the union make a deal with the government and we never ever get our money. After I worked there for all these years, when you go for your TD4 slip, they never have. You can't get. For years we can't get with TD4 slip. We get in pay. When I ready to resign, I used to get sick leave, annual leave. I used to get accumulated sick leave. You leave your sick leave for 4 years and you get paid for 3 years. When I ready to resign, although I carry my work record, when I start, when I stop, how much effective years I had 22 effective years. I still couldn't get my pay as I should because I don't have my TD4 slip. Because I didn't have my TD4 slip, I couldn't get my money due to me. And I tell them, it isn't my fault. I'm working. They're supposed to provide my TD4 slip for me. So because I never get my TD4 slip.
Laventil, thank you very much for your contribution. I think we hear what you're saying, that that you found that the union didn't assist you. And we were talking a little bit earlier about that with respect to the link between unions sometimes and government, and whether that is in fact a deleterious link for both the union and the workers, and in fact for the union leadership. Anybody want to take that issue as to whether or not there are many complaints about unions selling out workers to government?
Yes.
Well, that has been, Jerome.
This would fall directly into the question you already asked about the decline in trade union membership, the decline in the activities of trade unions. This is a good example, as this caller just explained, in which you feel betrayed by your union. You feel that your rights, you feel that your benefits have been eroded, you have lost it, because the union is saying something which is contradictory to what you want, which is contrary. Now, the decline in union membership and interest could also be, for example, in tutor. Not all the teachers are members of tutor, but when tutor gets a general increase in salaries, all teachers benefit. So this could also be an example of where we see this